We're in a bit of a predicament.
The man was killed. Police think that we did it. We need to clear our names.
Oh, that's something. He was killed because of something that he had seen.
Because of an organization who want to rule the world.
Rule the world. We need you good people to help us out.
It's the only hope that we have to get out of this situation.
Well, let's hope this goes well.
Things have gotten more complicated.
Do you want to start this?
Drinks on me. Literally.
There's more where this came from. Let's go to Amsterdam.
Amsterdam, rated R.
Hey guys, welcome to Peterson Bros Reviews. We are the Peterson Bros, and it's been a long time coming. I posted like a month ago about this whole movie review thing that we're going to be doing. And at first it sounded a little bit audacious, a little bit crazy, but
good vocabulary.
Yeah, we're here now and we're ready to talk movies.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, thanks for coming along for the ride. This is going up on YouTube and this is going on TikTok possibly and Instagram. And yeah, we've got our lemonade. Limeade. I got this from the store and I don't even know what it is.
Nice.
But yeah, we're talking about Amsterdam. So,
and I guess we're going to try to like get stuff out when they come out. Like, I think Amsterdam came out yesterday or something like that.
Yeah,
we both saw it today. We had plans to like watch it as soon as we could, but you know, I'm still in school. Sam's like working all the time. Like he actually doesn't know when he's going to be able to have time to do stuff like this, but yeah, I guess we're going to try to do it when we can. I guess you'll have to be patient with us because we'll be such a hit. We'll be such a sensation. They can't get enough of us. But I guess we just hop right into it.
Yeah, this is fun already.
I guess what were we gonna say?
Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, once I finished Amsterdam, I was driving home and Sam called me. He's like, "What'd you think of the movie?" And I was like, No.
Oh, you were driving home from like watching it?
Yeah, I think you were driving as well.
Yeah,
we were both driving. I was like on the way home. I'd just seen Amsterdam, and I was like, "Let's save it for the review." And so I guess right now we can start talking about how we feel about it because we haven't like shared anything. I think Sam liked it because I
have a lot of thoughts.
Yeah, I
have a lot of thoughts about this movie.
Where do you want to start?
Let's jump in. So this movie is directed by David Russell.
David O. Russell.
I forgot the O. Sorry.
We're big movie people. I would say I'm the bigger movie person.
Yes, I would say so too.
And so I might be the one to like correct Sam on certain things. And like I can, but Sam's pretty knowledgeable about this stuff. And so he like the average person. Well, the average person doesn't even know this movie exists.
I'm glad I'm above average.
Yeah, you are above average.
Thank you.
I am average.
I am average.
It's like that bit from the Wonder Woman movie. Like she's like, so Chris Pine's character, would you say you're the average definition of the human species? He's like, I'd say I'm above average.
I'm not your ordinary Joe. But yeah, it's directed by David O. Russell. Gotta write that. And yeah, he brings this 1930s flair to it, which I really liked. It's a gorgeous set, gorgeous. Like the costume design, I noticed that looked amazing. Like gorgeous costume design that honestly, like itself deserves an Oscar, hands down.
Yeah, I really like the costumes.
Super authentic. The tuxes and the hats and all the dresses for the girls and the makeup and everything. The makeup was amazing too,
especially like for Christian Bale and John David Washington, like their scars and stuff like that, especially Christian Bale.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like close-up shots. So in this movie, Christian Bale's character, his name is Bert something. He is a doctor and he does like little prosthetics for people. And this takes place in the 1930s. And so the prosthetics, of course, aren't great.
Yeah.
But like they do what they can. Like it's acceptable at the time. And so he applies a little prosthetic to himself. He has a big old scar right here. He's missing an eye.
Yeah.
And so has like all this deformity, not deformity, like He's got a lot of.
He's got a lot
he had,
of shit going
He had
on.
shrapnel lodged in. He did. Yeah. He had a lot of shrapnel going into his eye, and eye came out. And so, for his wife in the movie, he had like a little prosthetic of his that he puts on. And if that doesn't look great, but I mean, it's supposed to not look great because it takes place in the 30s. This is his own stuff. But when he takes it off and you see like his scar, it looks amazing.
It looks amazing. And like the little surgery scenes that they have as well. So, dang, before talking about all this, we should probably talk about what it's about.
But I would say not go in so deep into it. We haven't really discussed this, but I was thinking maybe we talk about our thoughts in like the movie without giving away spoilers.
Yeah.
Give our rating and then talk about spoilers if you want.
For sure.
If that's okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
We're new to this.
So yeah, very new. So I guess this is about like three friends. It's loosely based on a true story. It opens up. The title says a lot of this stuff happened.
Yeah.
And
so it's like some of it's inspired by true events.
Yeah, so I guess like kind of take it with a grain of salt. We can kind of like determine what was real, like kind of not. It seemed pretty authentic all throughout, and they showed at the ending. They showed like some real footage. I think some like real people, and so we can assume that's real.
Yeah.
But I haven't given too much research as to what is real, what's not.
Yeah. And it's, from what I've seen, is a absolutely stacked crew. This is probably like the most stacked crew I've ever seen.
I'd say for this year.
For this year, yeah,
absolutely.
For this year.
I mean, like Wes Anderson. Every single one of his movies, like it's this type.
It's
of
crazy
cast.
that you say that because I was actually thinking of Wes Anderson.
Really?
Like
What
it's
regard?
kind of his like style.
In a way, I see that. Yeah,
You know
it's
what I'm
like
saying?
kind of quirky
type. And like super classy.
Yeah,
and just like things happening all over the place.
It's just really well made.
Yeah.
That's good. David O. Russell probably got inspiration from Wes Anderson.
I would not be surprised. But
back to the movie, I guess.
Yeah. Stacked crew, but like, I guess this is kind of going along with some of like the problems I had in a way with it. Was like, I don't think that they had to get like, I don't know, big names like Taylor Swift and Zoe Saldana and like all these big names, because like, yes, they are decent actors. These are really big actors with like huge status, but I feel like if they got like a no-name actor, I feel like they could do just as good a job as these guys. No hate on Taylor.
No, like to a degree.
Taylor
Swift's in this movie, by the way. To a degree, I agree, because I had that exact same thought when I saw Taylor Swift. Of course, I'm not the biggest Taylor Swift fan, but like I still thought, oh my gosh, that's Taylor Swift. It's Taylor Swift. It's Taylor Swift. I didn't really like think to myself like, oh, Taylor Swift is playing a character named Liz Belushi or whatever her last name is.
I don't even remember her last name.
Her name is like Liz. She's not in the movie too long. But like for the time she's on screen, you're just thinking that's Taylor Swift. Yeah. And you can't really disassociate that. Like you're just thinking you can't really get invested into the story. Yeah. When like I guess with her character, like she does great. She does good with the part she has. Same with like other actors. Yeah. But since this movie is so stacked, there are certain times I forgot certain actors were in this movie. Yeah. Me too. Yeah. When they came out, I'm like, hey, it's that person. It's that guy. It's like it's the cameo movie, but Taylor Swift and like one other person, like or a few, they just had like these little cameos. But yeah, a lot of them stay, and like pretty much every actor is someone that is big. But that is something that I did think about. I kind of got used to it because literally there's a lot of people in this movie, and I kind of got used to it, and I was like, this isn't really like the celebrity movie anymore. Like, they did everyone did a great job with their role, and so yeah. No, but I thought about that.
Well, yeah, what I'm saying, I'm not saying that they did like a bad job at all. It's just like I feel like if they did get like a no-name person, like in my mind, I was thinking, dang, like if they got, I can't think of like someone who, you know, like what I'm talking about.
I think I know you're thinking.
Yeah, like if they got like somebody else, I feel like they could do as good of a job as like Taylor Swift. Yeah. And
I'm thinking like
no hate on Taylor.
The new Lord of the Rings series, for example. There's no names that I recognize in that.
Yeah.
And you kind of
Absolutely.
like that. Like if there's like a big name, you're like, oh, hey, it's that big name.
Yeah.
Of course, you need a draw for these type of things, and all these big names in Amsterdam are a draw, but at the same time, it kind of compromises. It's kind of it's a fault. The fact that it has such big names, you're kind of like just distracted
Yeah.
by all the names that are in it.
Yeah.
Um,
Kind of takes away from like the film a little bit.
just a little bit, but again, a lot of movies do this. And like series, like they start off like with no names, and then like the series gets popular, and then these actors become really big, and then like by the final season, everyone knows who they are.
Yeah.
But no, that's not a good example because like they embody the character because like that's their breakout role.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. This point's kind of gone on long enough. We haven't even like, described what the movie's about.
It's okay. We're just getting a little taste of it.
We kind of go on tangents every here and there.
Yeah.
And so
you'll learn a lot from us
Mhm.
in a little span of time. But no, this movie not only encaptures David O. Russell's style of film, but it also encaptures like his direction and how he wants to like pave this way, how he wants to like perceive this thing to the audience.
Mhm.
And what this thing is a movie that is unique. It's a drama, but it's also a mystery. And it's also a story of these three friends that come together in foreign lands. This is during World War One. Well, actually,
it's in the 30s.
sorry, I'm backing up here. It's in.
They meet in the first war.
Yeah, they meet at the end of the World War One, and they have this little flashback moment where it tells a story of how they all met. It was basically in this. It was like in this like doctor's tent. It was in a hospital overseas in Europe, and Margot Robbie's character, I forgot her name. Valerie. And she is basically the doctor. She's taking care of all these patients. They're all super messed up. Their like bodies are flopping everywhere. Like they are not afraid to show like graphic details.
I have some points I want to bring. So
yeah, sure.
This movie is rated R.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that.
Really?
Yeah. Because when I saw rated R, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna pick up on that. So I think the reasons why it's rated R is because of like that scene when they're in the tent. They're all bloody and they kind of like get up close like the shrapnel because like Christian Bale's character, like he has like a bunch in his back, like he has it on his eye. John David Washington's character, his name's Harold. He has it in his face like this. It's actually on the other side, like right here.
Yeah.
They had that, and what else? Because like there wasn't too many things that made me think, oh, this is rated R. It was mostly like the blood. There was only like one F word that I could think of.
Yeah, there was one F word.
And usually
that's why I thought it was PG-13 too.
Right. And so I kept thinking like, okay, why is this rated R?
Yeah.
And certain deaths.
Yeah.
There's certain deaths in here.
We're not going to talk about
the
deaths specifically, but
and like some people get shot.
Yeah.
And
the thing that kind of like caught me off guard is like when crazy stuff would happen, like the music wouldn't change. It would still be happy and like happy-go-lucky.
That was something I was going to mention that as well. So this movie has like pretty serious subject matter, but they kind of deal with it in kind of like a comedic way.
Yeah.
Like for example, when the scene when Christian Bale, John David Washington, they're in the hospital and Margot Robbie's fixing them up, pulling the shrapnel out.
Yeah.
They're screaming.
Yeah, they're in pain.
And they have like shrapnel all over. It's a bloody scene. Yeah. But like there's voiceover and there's like, oh.
There's like a flute playing.
Yeah, like me and John David Washington, we were hurt, but we were brothers. Like,
yeah.
And then
brothers for life.
And then without the quirky music and the narrative, it just be like, ah! And there's like, and they could have directed that in such a different way. They're like, no, and like it could be
100%.
intense.
Yeah.
It could have been really intense, but like they kind of do that all throughout. Like it's kind of quirky writing.
Yeah. I kind of
but like
had a small issue with that.
A little bit, but I got used to it.
I did too.
He told us pretty early on that this was going to be the case. And so once you get used to it, I had no problem with it, and so
Okay.
but I did think about that. Like sometimes, like
It's not a huge deal, but it's something I noticed.
right, like there's some
in the
things that
film.
like you wanna like they respect like veterans like throughout. It's not they're
Yeah.
not throwing shade to like what veterans contribute, like
Yeah.
serving their country. But the fact that like that scene, for example, there was like such a way that you could have depicted that in such a different way.
Like it's like a dramatic, like it's a rough scene.
Right.
It is gory and it is rough.
I think like
And
someone
they
like,
played flutes.
yeah, I think someone like our mom, for example, she would feel better about watching that scene when it's depicted like this versus the visceral, like up close, like it's intense music, just focus on their pain.
Yeah.
But like when it's portrayed like this, like it's easier to eat, like to eat up, like to swallow.
Yeah.
And so, like again, you are used to this, and it's like you've accepted it, and so I don't find it as a big problem. But I
Yeah.
did think about that. I was like, is it a true story? And it's not like disrespecting the people, but like it's kind of quirky. you
Yeah.
know, to a degree.
Absolutely.
A part of that, I have like a problem with like the ending. But
Okay.
I guess we'll go into spoilers, like after we give our ratings. But anything else we want to talk about?
Seth, you said we wouldn't talk about spoilers.
No, no, not until the end, not until after our rating.
I'm just kidding.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, so
Also, everyone did good.
yeah.
Chris Rock is in there in this too. He doesn't do too much, but I liked him in this movie.
His name is Milton. I
Millen,
think that's his name.
and then
Yeah.
Rami Malek's character is Tom.
Yeah.
Um,
And his wife,
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Anya, that's her name. Anya Taylor-Joy. That's her name?
Yeah.
Such a unique name.
So Anya Taylor-Joy, I've liked her in everything I've seen her in.
Yeah. And she's in Peaky Blinders too.
She
You know that?
is. I've only watched a little bit of that. But
Yeah, she's fantastic in it. She's
everything,
amazing.
yeah, everything I see her in, I like, but I've never been so wowed. I guess kind of in Split because she like has to do a lot in Split.
Yeah.
But
I
this,
forgot she was in Split.
that was like her breakout role.
Dang.
Voice crack.
Breakout role.
Breakout role. But this movie, she's still like a side character, like very much a side character. But there's certain things that like I was like, wow, like she's really good.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but like she stood out for me in this. Also, the main leads.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Bale is amazing, as always. We've been a fan of Christian Bale for the longest time, like especially the Dark Knight trilogy. That's really what
in
we
my
love him.
opinion, I think he was like the breakout role for me. Absolutely, hands down.
Yeah, like he's the best.
I would say that this movie is I feel like it's evenly proportioned to like each character's development, but solely on Christian Bale. Like I think that like the main like bulk of this movie is revolved around Christian Bale's character, and it's cool to see him like rise as this injured war veteran who didn't have a lot to his name. He was I feel like he didn't really come from a lot.
Like in the movie, it's not a spoiler that you're like, oh, I can't believe it's kind of like a part of this.
I'm trying to say as much as I'm
it's
trying not
really,
to spoiler.
It kind of leads up to the movie. It's kind of like development, like towards the beginning, you know.
Yeah.
But his family, his in-laws,
right?
They kind of make him go into it. Just he kind of does it to impress,
right?
His in-laws. You know, like his
and you really feel for him.
Yeah, he's like, I probably won't survive, and they're like, well, but you'll be honored, like you'll be remembered, we'll be proud if you do this. Like,
yeah,
I'll probably die.
I do not want to do this. I don't want to go to war. Please don't make. He's holding a rifle,
and he's like, I'll do it. Okay.
Next scene, bloodied,
blood.
Shrapnel coming out.
But you are right about he has the most screen time, like most like character development to a degree, but like only barely, because I think Margot Robbie and John David Washington's character, they have just as much character development. Maybe not John David Washington.
Yeah.
But maybe Margot Robbie's a close second, and then John David Washington.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
they're great.
Yeah, they're all really good.
It's just that I think that it's been a long time coming since Christian Bale's really had like a role like this, and I think this maybe he's Oscar worthy. I don't know, But
I think we'll have to see because Oscar
Yeah,
season
we'll have to
is a
February, right?
Well, it's Oscar season like right now,
Okay.
but because like all the movies that are nominated when the Oscars come out, they come out like starting now.
Okay.
So like Amsterdam, then there's like Babylon, like Avatar.
Avatar.
New
Dang,
Avatar.
those are big movies. I was seeing those like in the previews when I was at the movie.
I didn't see the Babylon trailer.
Babylon looks really good.
I'm really excited for it.
I'm excited for it as well.
I saw the Black Adam trailer. I'm like, oh yes, this looks dope. And then I saw Black Panther. I'm like, this looks dope.
Yeah. Oh man, rip Chadwick, man.
Peace, Chadwick.
But no, back to this movie. Beautiful set design, the way that they showed New York City back in the 1930s. I was thoroughly impressed with that.
Yeah.
Some scenes I was like, dang, how did they really get like that right?
Yeah. I like the artistic choice. Art is a theme in this movie.
Oh yeah, they show a ton of art. And Margot Robbie's character is kind of like that soul.
She's like an artist. She's she puts emphasis on like, you know, this isn't a spoiler. I'm just gonna mention the spoiler talk anyways.
No, yeah.
But she is a big artist, and she has like a scene towards the end where like her scenes that she's been built up, it comes together for her to make like a statement about art.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, all right, cool.
Yeah.
That doesn't like deter you from the movie. Doesn't maybe not build it up either. But I was just like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
She made a statement about art. All right. I do have kind of like a point to make about that, but I guess we'll have to get into spoilers.
Dang, we're really gonna have to have like a spoiler talk.
It may not be as long as
review.
we think. No, I say we do it after this.
We're really getting tempted.
Yeah, I say we do it after this.
But yeah,
after we give the rating.
It's just like there's so much that goes into it. It's such like a crazy ride because you get to know these characters so well, and as you go down like this, as you go down this adventure of all these crazy things happening, and kind of like the parts that I really liked was the beginning of the movie and the end. And then that middle section, I feel like it was kind of like dragged along. It was just like a lot of things weren't really happening. And then they started talking about like birds and like I was actually why are birds?
I was kind of thinking about you when they're talking about the birds because Sam used to.
I used to birdwatch. I was really into birdwatching.
Rami Malek's character, they bring up the birds like with his character. He's like, "Oh, I'm a bird watcher." Like, "Oh, the Jago bird."
Like, how do birds have to do with anything in this movie?
And it was odd because this isn't a spoiler. But Rami Malek's character, he's like a bird watcher. It's kind of like a throwaway line. And then like they bring up birds throughout, and Rami Malek's character isn't even there, but they're still bringing up birds. I'm like, well, what's the significance of this? Maybe I wasn't paying attention.
How do birds have anything to do with this?
But like, it's David Russell's having fun.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I don't know. Maybe
and the screenplay was really great.
I really liked it.
I loved it.
He wrote the movie. And
he wrote it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
He probably had some help, but like it was well written. This seems like a movie that an actor would be drawn to. Mm-hmm. Like we did some acting in high school, and just hearing like the description of like the story and like the characters, this seems like a movie is like it's fun for actors just to be a part of because like the characters are interesting. Like just hearing about that, so that was something that I thought about as well because I don't think about that with movies. Like just hearing the synopsis about this, like oh that sounds interesting. Even without the star power, you're like oh interesting.
Yeah,
you know. So that's something else.
Well.
I'm like oh cool.
Yeah, you get invested. Sure.
You want to give the rating?
But
we've talked about this for a minute.
It's just like every time that I bring something up, I'm really tempted to just give away a spoiler.
Yeah. Same.
And I'm kind of beating around the bush here. But so if you're not familiar with our rating system now, it's kind of like a creative little flair that I came up with. It's a 5. It's 5, right? It's a 5-piece review system where we go, and I came up with this when I was at an intersection once. I drive a lot. It's also part of my job. I'm a delivery driver for Amazon. And so when I was at like an intersection, when I was at a stop, I was like, damn, this is a really long stop. And I've been at a red for like 5 minutes. It's probably like over exaggerating. I probably wasn't there for long, but it felt like an eternity. I was like, man, this really sucks. And I did not want to be like in this anymore. I was like, wait, we're doing a podcast and we're talking about movies, a red light would be like the worst thing, like the worst movie. Not the absolute worst. There's like an extreme bad that we're also bringing up, which is like an emergency brake.
Yeah.
Like,
or like I'd rather be in traffic.
Yeah, I'd rather just be in traffic than just watch this movie. I just want to be stuck at this stoplight.
I think something, when you were bringing that up, something I thought of, like, if we were driving to the theater to see this movie, and like, how much would we want traffic to like be a factor in this?
Yeah.
Like, if we're gonna see like a bad movie, like, in the rating would be, I'd rather be in traffic. Like, I'm okay with being in traffic if I'm on the way to see this movie, because like this movie sucks. I could have.
Yeah. Like Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I could be in traffic. This is fine.
I'm sitting there.
I'm fine with this. Yeah, like this movie is god awful.
Yeah, garbage.
So
there's that, and then there's like an e-brake, which is like terrible, like the worst of the worst. You just want to sit there and do nothing. You want to do anything other than go to this movie, which sounds terrible, but it's true. And the yellow light, it's like, you know how with yellow lights you either want to play it safe or stop, or you want to go through it, like you'd rather just go through it. And that's kind of like the hesitant review piece.
I'd say we give like if it's like it's not in the middle, it's above medium, you give like a high yellow. Like, I'd speed through this instead of like slowing down to come to a stop. Yeah. You know, like a low yellow would be like, you know what? Like, yeah, you know, I'll slow down. Like, I don't need to be there yet. Yeah. Know? So
you just,
and then like,
I guess, can't make up your mind, man.
Yeah.
So, you either go or you don't. But and then there's obviously the green light. You guys all know what that means. You just speed through that sucker.
And Sam said something
go.
Like, for the highest rating, he'd be like, you know, I'm breaking all of traffic
I don't care. Yeah, the highest.
Oh, shoot. There's traffic. Ooh, I gotta get a room. Oh, I gotta go.
You're not wearing seatbelts. You're getting that thing off you, and you're just going. But no, the highest one possible would be, I don't care what light it is. I'm speeding through that thing fast as possible. If it's red,
like, this is fine.
Woo!
Yeah.
Oh shoot. But no. Yeah, I think you guys have a good handle of what that's all about. But no, there's a lot that goes into this movie, but I think that I would just have to go with a low green. Just because of like, there's not like a whole lot of like, I just feel like the pace of this movie could have been like a little bit quicker. I feel like it dragged along in that movie, but almost everything else I was really cool with. I was like, wow, I love the vision of this. I love the actors did a phenomenal job. Even though I had that little problem with them getting these big name actors to play these small roles, but
Robert De Niro as well. Robert De Niro's
Robert De Niro's in this. Like, he just kind of came out of nowhere. It was dope. But I just think that this is a low green. I would go see this again, but I wouldn't put it on the top tier just because of like the lack of like urgency. Like, let's get this on the road. They built up to this story, to this mystery I was talking about earlier, and they kind of just like bring it up, and you're invested. You're like, okay, man, this certain thing happened. I want to talk about it so bad, but I can't. This certain thing happened, and there's people that really want to get this going, and they want to figure out, and they want to like find out who this person is. They want to gather all these clues and like figure out who this person is, and it's kind of like a little game of Clue. And I was so invested, and then they go back in time, and then they drag along, and they pull in all these characters, and in my mind, I kind of forgot what was going on in the first place.
Is this when they introduced Margot Robbie's character and stuff like that? Okay. I agree, but at the same time, I thought the flashback was very interesting, and so I didn't have as much problem with it. When they came back to the present time, I was like, all right, we're back.
Yeah.
But I see what you mean, but it wasn't really a problem with me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
yeah, it's just like I kind of wish that they kept me like
Invested.
and more invested with like the whole plot that was going on.
and
they kind of dragged that along a little bit.
that's kind of my problem as well.
But I still enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I thoroughly enjoyed that movie.
With like the plot they hear, and you want to be invested into the mystery that they have going on, and you really like these characters, you like their bonds. It's really like it's sweet that this bond of the three actors, the trio.
Yeah.
But I guess the mystery isn't as interesting as you go out. Like throughout the whole movie, like they're going place to place to put together the clues to eventually unsolve this mystery that goes throughout. We didn't really describe the plot of this movie, which is kind of good to a degree. But they're trying to figure out this mystery, and it's not as interesting. There's like a lot of talking, and I feel like they could have done a bit more to make it interesting. But it was good. I was thinking to myself, this isn't super rewatchable.
Yeah.
I would watch this again, but it's not super rewatchable compared to other movies. Thank you, because that was like going against the wall. It was bothering me just a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really good. But I wouldn't say it's as high as you would put it.
Really?
I give it a high yellow.
High yellow.
Not low green. There's something at the end that bothered me. It may not be what you're thinking of. We haven't even talked about it. Again, we haven't talked about it, but there's something that kind of bothered me.